announced a large deal. So that's one step in that direction. I think we have a good pipeline. We will need to convert. On Capco, yes, we are seeing better momentum, and that's secular, not just in BFSI. They also have a good presence in energy. And the growth and the bounce back in Capco is fairly secular, both across the geographies they operate in, the service lines they operate in, and the sectors they operate in, right? In terms of the client attrition, you're noticing some volatility. It's a result of, the decline we've had in our revenues. I wouldn't be too concerned. Srini stressed upon it. Our top 10 clients are growing faster than the company. In fact, they grew sequentially 1.3%. If you look at our top 25, which we don't share in the data sheet, but I can share with you, the 38% of our revenues come from top 25 clients, and they've grown 1% sequentially as well. So look at our performance in our top clients, and that should give you some comfort.
Uma, please go ahead.
Sanjana, I think she was very precise. I don't have much to add.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm Uma Kannan from the New Indian Express. You spoke about 5 key strategic areas. Like you also mentioned in your presentation. So can you give us some clarity on how are you building on these priorities, especially large deals first? And second, also looking at your past, can we expect some acquisition that can happen this fiscal? Like you were also mentioning about automotive, can we expect some acquisition this fiscal? Thanks.
Thanks, Uma. Let me first talk about the M&A. M&A is our strategic. We look at what are the white spaces that we have, both on the technology side and the industry side, and it's something that we'll constantly look out, and we will do the right M&A at the right time. So that's part of the strategy, and we will continue to do that. And we have a very solid M&A team, and as an organization, we have been acquisitive, and we will continue to do that. But you have to have the right asset at the right time for the right white space that you have. That's on M&A. On the 5 strategic priorities, okay, I'll go from the bottom up, okay, if you can recollect all the 5 strategic priorities. One is bringing in execution rigor with speed on the client centricity aspect of it, right? How do you up our delivery excellence, right? How do we up our delivery innovation? So we got to invest. So on the delivery innovation, we are investing in the platform, which is Lab 45 and our studio. The studio has a bunch of accelerators, it's got tools, right? And it's one place where any 230,000 employees can go and plug in and play the Gen AI aspect of it. That's where we'll continue to. On the delivery excellence, we got to deliver to our clients what we promise and more. That's my expectation. Now, then the next one was build talent at scale. And Saurabh talked about the next gen associates going to the campus, bringing them, training them, right, grooming them, giving them opportunities. That's one. Second, for ourselves, upskilling across technologies which are both emerging and which are core, right? You can't miss the core as well. So if you look at the industry and cross-industry solutions that we are, winning from the market, we need these people to understand a business context of our client, not just the technology aspects of it. So with iAspire, you should see the demo. It's really fascinating, okay? So I think the employees can actually come and say what their aspiration is, how they want to build their careers. And for example, Uma, if you want to be a chief operating officer, iAspire will tell you how you can actually progress and how you got to train yourself and you got experience. So that's where we want to build a talent skill, and the talent is going to be diverse and it's going to be global, right? Then coming to the point on large accounts, right? Aparna talked about how our top 10 accounts, how our top 25 accounts are grown. My aspiration is how our top 100 is growing across the spectrum. And what we need to do is we got to invest. We got to understand the client. We need people who understand the customer business, understand the technology, how do you articulate, how do you solution, right? And it's a journey. The way I see it, it's a journey. And the last one, or the first question, you started with the large deals, right? Large deals, the networking deal, let me talk about that, right? The telecom networking deal, it wasn't easy. First and foremost, you need to understand what the client's business problem was, right? And then articulate how you can actually solution it based upon our industry solution that we have already built, which is powered by AI, right? So when you show the context and how you can give the business benefits, I think, it's a lot more domain and consulting led. I think that becomes go-to strategy. My expectations from my teams is that how can you replicate that across, right? I'm just giving one example. The healthcare. Today, healthcare is going to tremendous change. Let's say United States of America. There's Medicare, there's Medicaid, and there is ACA care. How can you bring all elements of this at a client and impact their business, impact the experiences of their members on this platform, thereby, helping the client as well as their members, right? So that's how the thinking has to be. And if you articulate that value proposition to the client, I think we can have a better conversion. That's my aspiration.
Can we have the next question from Sai, and then Padmini will come to you right after.
Hi everyone. You just gave some passing mention on the customer bit, but I just wanted to know why the 75 million bracket has fallen by 3 and 50 million is fallen by 2. Even if we think about a rejig, I don't think there is any fall to the brackets that are lower, 20 million or 10 million. So can you tell us why that's happening? Probably deals have been closed. And another thing I just wanted to know, this -1 to +1 range, how much of it is specific to Wipro, and how much of it is specific to the macros around? Because like since last week we're hearing there have been green shoots. BFSI in the US has been improving. So can you tell us some indication on when you see Wipro specific issues ending and turnaround in place? Thanks.
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Sai from Reuters. Sai Ishwar.
Hi, Sai. Let me, Aparna, can I answer these questions? Okay. So, number one, Sai, the way I see it is that I look at the top 100 accounts of Wipro. There will be some ups and downs on that. I can, maybe Aparna can give a color to that. But having said that, what is important is execute our strategy in each of these accounts. The point you made, how do you shape demand within those clients? How do you work with partners, bringing the right value proposition you want to do? I think that's I'm focusing on. Onesies and twosies, I'm not too worried. Sometimes, the customer may reduce the spend depending upon how their business is performing and so on and so forth. So that's not a big concern item for me. What I'm focused on, the set of accounts that we want to really go after and become dominant and become a true partner for them. That's number one. Coming to the range on -1 to +1%, right? There are factors in the market, but there are also our internal factors. Like Aparna talked about, if you look at specifically on energy and utilities and manufacturing, right? We have had a soft quarter, and we do have, we'll have to recover that softness that we had through winning deals and growing the accounts. Now, if I have to look at the broader brush, right? I think we talked about it. America's One, right? It continues to grow, which is good news. Within America's One, I've given you a color of healthcare and communications also coming back. Consumer is also coming back, right? So that's good news. America's Two and Q1, you've seen a little bit of a decline. And however, I said BFSI, banking and financial services, which is very dominant within America's Two, and the deal wins that we got, which is almost 12% sequential growth that we got. That gives me the optimism on America's Two in the midterm in terms of the growth. Now, Capco, I did tell you that it happened. It's growing both in Europe and also in the US. So 3 of those are, I see the positive momentum. Now, coming to APMEA, I did tell you that we've got a new leader and we've got to come back and share the strategy how we want to do that. Second is on Europe. We do have a good deal pipeline. We need to convert that to bring back the growth in these 2 geographies. That's how I would paint it. And that's how the Q1 is -1 to +1%.
Padmini, you can go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Padmini from Financial Express. So how many of your Gen AI POCs are into production right now? Are you seeing any $1 million deals in that space? Is it short term or long term? And we saw 2 of your senior executives changes in the quarter. Is it part of your strategy, and should we expect more, especially over the weekends?
So Padmini, let me take the second question first. I did stand in front of you last quarter. I said we are going to have 5 strategic priorities, right? I came back and did talk about the 5 strategic priorities. I also said that I'm going to get better at the strategic priorities after my meetings with the clients and the employees and the stakeholders, including partners and influencers. So we will continue to stay focused on 5 strategic priorities going forward. That's number 1. Number 2, I did tell last quarter that we are not making any structural changes. We're going to have 4 SMUs and 4 GBLs, and that continues. There's no change. I did mention that people and leadership will continue to evolve. I can assure you it will continue to evolve. In fact, we have also launched Wipro Leadership Institute, where we want to groom people across the bands who actually say to I aspire that I aspire, right? And build a career growth. And that's going to be evolving, that's going to be changing. So that's my response to the second question, second point. Coming back to, you want to add something?
I just want to add that there's a deep bench strength of leadership. So all exits which have happened, you have seen, we have people who are internal talent which have taken over those positions. So that's the strength of the organization, and there is no reason for us to be any worried about any such changes happening.
So Padmini, on Gen AI, I think I may repeat what I said in the past. So see, there are multiple aspects of Gen AI. I don't want to give the number of proof of concepts, number of use cases that we have at this point in time, because this is ongoing. Gen AI is something that we will continue to involve across process areas. Some of them may work, some of them may work. That's why the clients are doing a lot more proof of concepts. Please understand, when you are implementing Gen AI, it has to be responsible, it has to be secure. It's very critical for the organizations. As you continue to innovate our service delivery in the context of Gen AI, try to infuse Gen AI into managed services, impact business process through Gen AI, and also bring in upside to new business for our clients. It will be a journey. Like I said, mid-term to long-term, it will dramatically accelerate. But for now, clients are building that, and some POCs may go into production, some may not go into production, and that's, I think, a journey for us and for our clients across industries.
Haripriya, you can go next.
Hi. Sir, you mentioned about the prominent deals that were won in this quarter, but...
Haripriya, can
you be louder?
Yeah.
Am I audible now, sir? Sir, you mentioned about the large deals that were, prominent deals that were won in this quarter, but when we look at YOY numbers for both total bookings and large deal TCV, we see a dip there. So how should we read into this one? Yeah. And just expanding on that AI thing that you were talking about, some of your peers have decided to call out the revenues that they're getting from the AI deals, while one more peer has said that because it's baked into everything, we can't call out a specific number. So how are you looking at it? Also, you must be aware of the recent Karnataka's proposal to have local job reservation. Although that's on hold now, as a prominent company in Karnataka, how are you looking at this, and what's your opinion on that?
Haripriya, again, you asked me 3 questions. Okay, let me come to the large deals first. I think we came across from a Q4, we had 18 deals to Q1, which is 10 deals. There are certain deals we could have closed in Q1, which have switched to Q2, but I know I'm not really worried about that. Like I said, large deal pipeline is robust. Focus is to do conversion, period. Coming to Gen AI, I think there are 2 sides to that coin, right? You give both the answers. You are asking me to pick one or the other. I'll pick the second answer. And the Karnataka...
I think the Karnataka thing, it's be appropriate for us to give a comment once we are clear on what's the bill is, because I think the government itself has taken it and deliberating it. So once it comes out, we will be in a position to comment on that.
Anika, you can go next.
Hi, I'm Anika from Business Standard.
So I spoke about hiring from the campuses. 3 or 4 things I want to call out here. You have to see hiring in context of 3 or 4 parameters. You have to see in context of our utilization, which is an all-time high. You have to see in the context of attrition, which has been stable with an upward bias. You have to see in the context of demand, which is coming up. And if I put all these 3 things together, we are hiring freshers from campuses this year and a plan to go next year. That's at scale. And we continue to hire specific skill sets across the globe based on demand regularly. So that's what I would put. I've given you some brief idea of numbers for the freshers. Rest will be demand driven as we see more demand coming up.
So you can go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Narayankar from UNI.
So you'll have to speak a little bit louder.
Speak louder, please.
Am I audible now? Yeah. When I look at your I'm Mr. Narayankar from United News of India. When I look at profit growth year on year, you're doing fairly very well. But when I come to EBIT margin, TCS is 24%, Infosys 21.5%, HCL Technology is 18%, Wipro, they have done very well this time, 16.5%. So how do you plan to improve your margins and meet your aspirational margin level of 17%?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. So we've been in a journey. Over the last 8 quarters, we have continuously improved our operating margins. The last 6 quarters, as you know, has been especially noteworthy given the weaker macroeconomic environment which has impacted our revenues. The operational rigor is visible in our utilization numbers, which are now at a recent high. If you look at what are the levers that we think we can flex as we go forward, I've spoken about this: fixed price productivity, rotation, improving our pyramid, and rationalization of our overheads, especially some of the acquired entities that we have as they get integrated with the Wipro. Some of the G&A synergies can be realized. We are looking to realize them. So these are some levers that we can still flex. For us to deterministically move towards our aspiration number of 17% and beyond, it will definitely need the revenue growth to come back. So that also will be an important lever. Those are the things I wanted to share.
Now, what timeline would you give?
No, we're not giving any timeline, sir, because we don't guide for margins. I think we've shared that we are confident of executing it in a narrow band with an upward bias. And I think that reflects our confidence in our ability to continuously improve our operations.
So we have time for a few more questions. Beena, if you'd like to go ahead, and Reshab, you can go next.
Yeah, hi, this is Beena from the Economic Times. Srini, if you could just, kind of tell us, what kind of Gen AI projects are you seeing currently out of your current projects, if in percentage terms, if at all you could call out, and if at all, when can you call them out? What is the timeline that you're looking at? And, in terms of hiring as well, you mentioned, 10 to 12,000. Is this going to be through campuses or off campuses? And has the onboarding of the previous offers already been done? I wasn't clear about that answer. So if you could just tell us that. And overall, how do you see while you've answered a little bit on the macros, in terms of your conversations with your clients, are they still being optimistic the way you've been suggesting? And do you see this momentum building up, across the quarters?
I'm going to take the hiring, then I'll answer the rest.
Yeah, so I think you came a bit late, so missed it. that 10 to 12,000 is hiring of freshers, which will have both component of hires from campus and off campus. And we will, in doing this fiscal, we will meet all our commitments of the past offers which we have made. So we'll onboard all the people in the past whom we have made offers during this fiscal. So that's on the hiring. All pending. So what I said, all the pending offers which we have, so a combination of that plus, so we'll conclude everything. We will make sure that no of the pending offers are there. And this was a big commitment we had made, that as we look at hiring, and we have started fresher hiring after 1 year. We didn't do it in the last fiscal. This is the first quarter where we've done about 3,000 people. We had made a very explicit commitment that when we start hiring, we will honor our commitments, and we stand by that.
Hi, Beena. You didn't hear my answer to Haripriya, right? I went for the option 2. So, I know Gen AI is fascinating, let me tell you. I'm personally very excited. I was one of the first guys to take the test and passed it, was 20 out of 20 at Wipro. But the fact I'm trying to say is that Gen AI will be infused in our existing business. Gen AI will be, leveraged for software development life cycle, and Gen AI will be powered. Gen AI will power our industry and cross-industry solutions. So there are multiple components that's going on. That's why it's very difficult to predict what it is. For example, the deals, 4 deals I talked to you about today, right? All of them are powered by AI. Now, how do you, calculate that? So I'm not able to give you a time frame in terms of when we will do that, when we will come and publish to you. But that's something that obviously we're thinking internally.
Hello, sir. Samir from ET. To add one question for the Beena.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Samir
answer.
from ET.
Yeah, ET, right?
Yeah.
I didn't answer the Beena second question. Okay. So I was just looking at what it is. So is it okay if I answer that question? Thank you, sir. So on the macro environment, you talked about the optimism, right? The clients that I have met over the last 90 days gives me confidence and comfort of the opportunities we have ahead of us, and Wipro being on the table to help our clients. Okay, and from I talked to you about, I don't want to repeat it, about each of the markets and each of the industries. Like I said, manufacturing and E&U for us is a little bit softer, but once you start winning deals and coming back into these accounts, it should organically start growing.
This is Samir from ET, sir. You spoke about green shoots in Americas and Capco. So can we take like the slippage in active clients are more from APMEA and Europe?
See, I think Aparna did talk about it. We had some large project coming to close, both in manufacturing and energy and utilities. It's a one-time phenomena that we experienced, because of which in Q1 you saw that, right? So it's to me, it's more of a one-time here and now. Now we need to build that gap and keep going forward. That's how I would articulate, Samir.
Rishabh, if you'd like to go ahead.
Hi everybody, Rishabh here from Money Control. I had 2 questions, both for Srini. The company has a stated goal of reducing the tail end of the customer size. So we have seen that the tail end has been reducing. For example, $1 million and $3 million, both have reduced. But we have also seen that the large ones, that is 100 million, 75 million, have also gone down. So would you like to revisit that strategy? And on the second question that I have is, continuing on the question on leadership churn. The past 2 resignations that we have seen, the big leadership exits, are both from the Capgemini, your rivals, stable. So should we, what should we expect on that front, and what's being done? Thank you.
So I'll take the question on the tail account, exit strategy.
Sure.
I think it was very, very localized, especially in the context of something that we were doing in APMEA, more specifically in some parts of India and Middle East. I think that's been executed. What you're seeing as attrition is also a result of the continued softness in discretionary spend environment. And that's perhaps impacting some of our million-dollar accounts, right? I think, like Srini has already answered, we are focused on growing our top 100, right? It is an aberration. We've lost, a few in perhaps the greater than $50 million. But if you look at the greater than $20 million, it's flat. So there will be some volatility that could happen within these buckets. But our emphasis on investing in our top client stays, and that should show results. And our top 25, like I said, continues to outperform. It's growing 1.3% sequentially. So that should give you a lot of comfort on our strategy working. On the leadership exit.
So Rishabh, let me rephrase and repeat what I said. As an organization, we are focused on 5 strategic priorities that I called out. Second, the focus is on execution rigor with speed. And third, people and leadership will continue to evolve along with the strategy and execution rigor, period.
We are over time, but we'd like to take one last question from Sonal.
Yeah. Hello everyone, Sonal Chaudhary this side from Deccan Herald. So like Srini highlighted that America is seeing a better demand. So do you see this demand sustain going ahead, especially now that inflation seems under control and that a rate cut is likely from the Fed? Secondly, your attrition rate has remained almost similar, 14.2% the past 2 quarters, and currently it's 14.1%. Now I know that it's not possible to actually predict what's going to happen next, but is there an outlook on that front? Secondly, what's your outlook on the BFSI for the coming quarters? And are clients resuming large ticket spending? Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sonal, let me answer the demand. Is it sustained? And BFSI, right? Those are the 2 questions let me answer. You're absolutely right. Inflation, rate card, everything will have an impact on the discretionary spend of our clients. From our vantage point, since we gave a guidance for just Q2, like I said, BFSI, I'm very positive for Q2. Second, I also said second half, the general trend is that expectation is irrespective of the election year in the United States of America. The second year is expected to continue to grow. You don't know what you don't know, but that's what they're saying it. And from our vantage point, we continue to see the deal momentum, and it's reflecting in the deal pipeline. So our job is to go and convert those deals that are in the pipeline. So that's on the demand situation. Specific to BFSI, like I said, the BFSI actually, we are going to see, thanks to, I give the example of Capco, right? Capco is tip of the spear for us when it comes, it's a strategy and consulting led, and Wipro is actually works partners to execute that aspect. So if the tip of the spear continues to grow both in Europe and in Americas, that's positive news for us. So that means there is a discretionary spend that continues because Capco does mostly discretionary spend. So that's the color I can give you.
So on attrition, yeah, it's been more or less flat last few quarters. But I said that we are seeing a slight uptick, which could be in function of demand environment improving. But we are keeping a close watch. We are comfortable right now given the supply side actions which we have taken in anticipation of the same.
We will have to conclude our Q1 FY25 earnings press conference. For all the follow-up questions, we are very happy. Please reach out to the media relations team. And thank you, and we'll see you next quarter.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.